Welcome back to the Backyard Professor Responds videos. We've got yet more fun and games before the hearings on November 13th with the former head of the AARO, Sean Kirkpatrick, who apparently has come out and admitted that there is a UAP crash retrieval program, or has he? You know, when Joe Rogan interviewed Michael Schellenberger, it was really interesting how he guided the conversation. And I get it. I read all the comments to the show. It was a huge show, over 1 million views. It was about 3 weeks ago. And Rogan just kept on talking and wouldn't let Schellenberger tell much about the Immaculate Contradiction, or whatever the hell they call that secret program, Immaculate Constellation. Come on, you got to admit the play on words is really interesting. Immaculate Conception, Immaculate Constellation. Someone may have a sense of humor up there in the upper echelons of our drab government after all. However, this is really, it's a game. It's a chess game. It really is. I'll use an analogy of my favorite game that I like, chess. Because they're making moves and you think, aha, well, I'm winning. And then all of a sudden you lose a knight and then you have to carry on. And pretty soon you get their bishop. And however, their pawn chain is stronger than yours. So it's blocking you from attacking on a kingside attack, etc. Anyway, all of that to the side. Kirkpatrick's reputation precedes him. And, you know, how trustworthy is he? Not very. So this is more fun and games. And see what's so, you know, it's kind of discouraging. I listened to, what's his nose? Dolan, Richard Dolan, just a day ago. And he just has a brand new video out, along with Down to Earth UAP podcaster, Christian Harloff. And Dolan seems kind of dull. He's really somber right now about the effect or even the possibility of the hearing on November 13th. We're all being cautiously optimistic, but this was kind of different to see Dolan almost appearing blue about it, because realistically, the timing of this thing right after an election, and you know everybody's mind is going to be on the new president, whoever that be. There's going to be all kinds of issues raised regardless of who wins, and the Congress is just not going to be in the mood for the hearings. Are they even going to happen? You know, we know Mace and others are saying, yes, this is going to happen regardless. But even if it does, what about the quality, right? So here's what Sean Kirkpatrick is really doing, is basically what Rogan told Schellenberger. It's a huge disinformation campaign. That's what's going on. They, meaning the government, the military, the industrial military complex, whoever they is, the secret society, they have something to hide. And they are going to pull out all the stops to make sure that gets hidden, including giving the false impression that they are now disclosing. And that could be a ruse too. None of this affects the reality of the UAP. And I know, don't get mad at me, just hang on. None of it does. The UAP are real regardless of what we think, regardless of how much cover up the government goes over or with, etc. What they're hiding is, well, they're trying to keep their jobs for one thing, but they're hiding potential really nasty bad activity and lying to Congress, and that's serious enough to land him in jail. So of course they're going to pull out all the stops. Let me share a screen real quick with you on what Christian is saying over there at Down to Earth Podcast, this is brand new from him also, just the other day. It's early Sunday morning, November 3rd. I'm preparing for my live session tonight with the incredible interview. And I get it, it's a few months old, but for my audience, as well as those of you who are new to my UFO materials and all, this interview is the most electrifying interview I've ever heard. And it is by the most electrifying interviewer, Ross Coulthard. Superb interview of one of the truly greats in this entire UFO community field, Danny Sheehan. And so I've been working on that, but I want to just take a minute and just share my quick reaction to this. Let me make sure this is showing up. Yeah, there's our buddy. There he is. I like this guy. I can't help it. He's down to earth. He talks off the top of his head a lot like I do. I have not dug into any depth on this Sean Kirkpatrick issue, but I like what Christian says here. Let me just share his idea real quick.
Of kind of breaking this down overall, and there is no admission from Kirkpatrick inside of this that, you know, there's alien craft or anything in general that they had found. He just did admit that there is indeed a program that if there's something out there, that this is the place this is the team that would go get it.
Okay, now this is really, really, really important because of what Schellenberger told Rogan just 3 weeks ago, and I just happened to have that clip also that I will share. Let me stop this screen real quick and share another screen real quick. Here we go. Yeah, let's listen to Michael Schellenberger now. This is pretty important here. Pay attention to how he says this.
Like that, then I don't know what the harm is from saying that they don't have a program like that. Remember, AARO with this is the Blue Book, 3.0 or whatever it is. They said they looked and they were like, we looked and there's no secret UAP program.
We looked and there's no secret UAP program. That was Michael Schellenberger in his analysis and discussion with AARO officials. And now, just the other day, Sean Kirkpatrick comes out and says, well, of course, there's a program. And if we find anything, this will be how we funnel it. So there's a direct contradiction here. And the problem is the credibility, always the credibility. They have none. I'm just not impressed with the way the government's handling this. And yet, on the other hand, Rogan has a very good point. Their strategy is to get whistleblowers out there and go on podcasts and shows and confess all kinds of crazy things. And you go, wow, that is crazy blitzoid. Is it though? Let me go back to Christian real quick, because we're not done listening to this fine gentleman either. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Stop screen. Share screen. And let's go. That's the Joe Rogan experience. Here's the one I want. Okay. Christian, guide us. What more have you got, my friend?
Right. So he admitted to that. He said, okay, yeah, listen, we haven't found anything, but we have stuff that they go after balloons and foreign government stuff and all that. And yeah, and included in that is if anything ever crashed from the sky or anything along those lines, that's who would pick it up. That's essentially what he was saying. My counter to that is, well, why would that even be included? And why not just say, no, that was never a thing. It was always just for balloons and other things and that. And I think that's probably what he would have said had that, FOIA email or document rather not been discovered. He probably would have said, no, it was for this or that. Nobody trusts that guy. Kirkpatrick, nobody trusts him. The majority of people don't trust anything that comes out of his mouth. He's about as much of a government stooge as you've ever seen, in my opinion. it just the way that he approaches her. There are other people who are more so, and like even they have like Mike Rogers the other day, I thought handled things a lot better than this guy ever did.
So this is the issue that we're up against, the quality of the people who are talking. And we've got to take into account the timing of Sean Kirkpatrick coming out right now, bringing this up. Is he attempting to give someone something to hang their hat on, or is he attempting to get something out there before the hearings so that they can CYA, cover their own butts, in case something else comes up? It's all a chess game. We don't know. He hasn't admitted to having any craft or anything like that. That has gone to other independent UFO researchers, etc. And once again, I want to bring up this idea. Just because the U.S. government is hiding it from us and haven't given us full disclosure doesn't make it not real. We don't have to wait for the government. If you do, you're going to live and die without getting full disclosure, is my fear. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. Richard Dolan's getting pretty jaded in some respects with all of these hearings that keep putting off, as we all are. Joe Rogan is trying to get to the bottom of it with the best of his witnesses that he can get on there with Michael Schellenberger, Danny Sheehan, etc. Danny Sheehan is the place to go. That's why I'm going to share my live tonight with his information. But we just have to hang in there. I get it. It's been 80 years. A lot of us are tired of it. It's all talk at this point. I will be analyzing afterward the November 13th hearing, as will every UFO channel out there, without question. And I will be picking up and using and choosing some of their materials. I'm going to see if I can actually watch the hearings and take some notes. We'll see if I can do that or not. In the meantime, we do have another thing that just came out. Credible or not, it's this idea, well, this guy is just giving us a little bit. It's a breadcrumb trail. Oh, that's what else I want to do. Hold on. Let me do one more. I've got one more blurb from Schellenberger that I thought was extremely, actually from Rogan himself too, that I really think this is worth sharing. Let me keep going real quick. Yeah. Okay.
If I wanted to spread misinformation or disinformation, if I was an intelligence agent, I think I would get someone to be a whistleblower. I would sanction whistleblowers. I would tell them, go on podcasts, go on radio shows, go on television, and discuss all these different disclosures. And you can't tell them everything. Your top secret stuff, some stuff you got to keep secret. Boy, I wish I could tell you, but there's more I can't tell you. There's a lot going on. And that's a really good way, I would think, if I was in control of a narrative that I wanted to be continuously slippery. Like, this is a very slippery conversation.
Oh, man, that's well put. Seriously, that's the issue. And the parallel to Mormonism, the religious tradition I come out of, is absolutely doing this as well, where it denied all kinds of historical truth and changed their own narrative and whitewashed Joseph Smith and polygamy and his first vision and the golden plates in the Book of Mormon and the papyri in the Book of Abraham. And then they've whitewashed Brigham Young, etc., the Adam God doctrine, blacks and the priesthood, blood atonement, on and on and on and on and on. And now in the 2010 to 2020 decade, the church has begun to leak out and share new, updated church essays telling the real truth of history, which agreed with everything that the critics had been saying and that the church had been excommunicating. And so the Mormon church, as a big corporation, it's got hundreds of billions of dollars now, man. It's bigger than Joe Rogan could possibly imagine ever being. And he's huge and just as important. But this idea of how the government is playing this, of how Rogan just described, is what we're in right now. This is our era. That's not to discourage us. I'm not trying to discourage us. I'm saying once we begin to get eye to eye and recognize, hopefully, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll own up to it. I'm a big boy. I can put on my big boy pants. I may be reading all of this thing completely wrong. I'm good with that. But for now, this is what it looks like to me. It's what it looks like to a lot of people. Hopefully, the meeting, the hearings on November 13th will shed further light and knowledge on this. Some of us have some skepticism, I believe fully justified. We're still going to watch it. We do need to continually analyze it. That is the nature of the beast. If you don't like it, go off onto something else. To me, this is an ultimate mystery. That's what makes it worth it. This is simply fantastic and fabulously interesting. So that's why we keep doing what we're doing. So anyway, more to come. More to come. I'm just bringing us up to speed that the government agencies, the former heads of some government agencies, are coming out now, and not quite a full admission. They're being very slippery. That was a great description of Sean Kirkpatrick. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, but there is something now there that was categorically denied just a few weeks ago, according to Michael Schellenberger. So we're seeing some grind, we're seeing some contradictions, and yet a little bit more is coming out. And I know that drives some people crazy. Well, you got to suck it up and play the game. This is a chess game. There's a lot of strategies involved. So I'll keep you in tune on the latest developments as they come out. Thanks for watching the BYP Responds. A lot more coming out. In the meantime, remember, have a great day, and I'll see you tonight on my live 6 o'clock Mountain Time in the United States of America. Hasta la vista, baby. You remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "I'll be back"? Johann Sebastian said, "No, I'll be back." Ooh, I got to go get ready for tonight.